Hey everybody, today is December 22nd, and today we're going to look at the stock market. The stock market had another great day today, in addition to this entire week, which has been basically a just really great rally off the bounce of the 100-day moving average, which we talked about on Monday. The Dow closed the day up 261 points, the S&P up 47 points, and the Nasdaq up 180 points, with the Nasdaq having the best day of just over 1%. So let's talk about the stock market and where we can see the market going forward into the end of the year. But before we begin, please read this disclaimer, and you can pause this video as you read it. Okay, so on Monday we talked about some of the fundamentals and the technicals. We talked about how the stock market had a bit of a pullback, right? Recently, of course, in late November, we had the Omicron scare, which came out of South Africa, and then that with the anticipation that the Federal Reserve was going to begin tapering and doing rate hikes starting next year and also 2023, that sort of spread a bit of pessimism in the markets, and so we had a bit of a pullback, in late December and of course last week. And so we talked about how on Monday, part of the leading cause was, of course, last week we had the Fed meeting, and they talked about how they were going to begin tapering early next year, and also beginning the first of three rate hikes in 2022, and perhaps doing 3 more rate hikes in 2023, but they'll probably change and adjust that during the next meeting. So this is just basically people anticipating, perhaps selling their stocks before, if they're anticipating a pullback in the markets. Also, the Omicron variant of the coronavirus leading to more lockdowns around the world, and people preparing in case there is a slowdown in the economy. They might be selling as well. And also just end of the year, tax loss harvesting and rebalancing and selling and moving some positions around, right? Reallocation, and that could have been some of the cause of why the market sold off late in November and in the middle of December. But right now we're seeing a strong bounce, right? I talked about how these moving averages tend to act as strong support. They've acted as strong support in this entire year, right? Especially the 50-day. The 50-day has acted as strong support many times this year, right? It just kept bouncing off. And of course, we had a breakdown to the gold line, which is our midterm moving average, the 100-day moving average. We had one earlier this year in late September, which there was a bit of choppy price action, but we ended up recovering and going to all-time highs. And I think we're seeing something very similar here, right? Something similar to that we had in our pullback in late September, and eventually the recovery, right? Pulling back to the 100-day moving average, finding strong support, and it's bouncing off, right? We had something very similar in the beginning of December, where we came down here, chopped around, and then bounced up to all-time highs before plunging down last week. But this week, on Monday, we had a nice support bounce over here on the 100-day, and Tuesday and today we had a nice follow through, right? And not only that, we filled both the gaps, right? And let's zoom in on 30-minute chart, and we'll see that 2 of the gaps that we created last week were filled yesterday and today. We had a gap up, beautiful gap up yesterday, and we ended up filling the gap today. So we have one more trading day this week before Friday is a holiday. It's going to be Christmas Eve, and of course, happy holidays and Merry Christmas to everybody. Hope you have a great long weekend. But yeah, tomorrow's the last trading day, and I do think that it would be really awesome if we can close up near the all-time high. I don't know if the market's going to have it in it to close at the all-time high, although at this rate, we've been basically going straight up. I think that it would be pretty healthy to see a bit of a pullback before closing out the end of the year next week at all-time highs. But I wouldn't be surprised if we just go straight up, right? But keep in mind that the more parabolic we go, the more straight up we go, we tend to have much more severe correction. But also when we look at the bigger picture, right? The daily chart, the S&P 500. We are forming a bit of a triangle here, right? Where we hit the resistance multiple times, but we have higher lows over here. So that's building up momentum to break up to all-time highs and continue up higher, right? Something similar over here, right? With a flat resistance and higher lows. Also over here, hitting the same resistance but with higher lows. So if we can break out this triangle formation, we can see the S&P continue up higher into next year. And yeah, things are looking very, very good. And of course, people might be wondering, does the Santa rally have to do with this? And it could be, end of the year optimism. I think people are starting to realize that the Omicron variant isn't as bad and it's not as deadly as people expect it to be, and that even though there'll be tapering and rate hikes, the market will adjust for that, right? And it's really like companies will continue to do well, and of course, as long as the supply chain crisis starts to recover, as long as the economy starts to recover and the supply chains problems start to be solved, companies should be going back to normal profitability or even more, right? And of course, consumer confidence today. Today was another news that we haven't gone over yet. Is the consumer confidence for December rose more than expected, which also contributed to the rally today, right? Yeah, so we said there was a bit of pessimism leading into the end of November with the Omicron variant, but it seems like people aren't as scared of it as was expected. You can see the consumer confidence rose in December by more than expected as Americans' outlook for employment and the economy improved, suggesting some resilience in the recovery despite growing concerns about the Omicron variant and elevated prices, right? So that also contributed to why we saw such an epic rally today. So this is the open, and of course you can see we closed very strong, right? Big candles, a lot of volume. Of course, there's always like some big seller at the end closing out their positions, right? But overall, very strong effort this week, and yeah, we're gonna have to look forward to tomorrow, our last trading day of the week. And usually around the holidays, the volume is a bit low, but it seems like people are starting to get optimistic about the markets and about 2022. So things are looking pretty good. Let's look at some of the technicals, right? So obviously we talked about how we bounced off support, and now we're trying to reclaim previous all-time highs. So right now we don't have to, sorry, go back to this S&P. Right now we don't have to worry too much about whether we're going to plunge lower into a bear market, or not a bear market, into a correction, because we pretty much we're very close. We're very close to the all-time high, right? Let's see. We're just a little over 1% away. So we can probably get there tomorrow if the momentum continues. But like I said, I would rather see it pull back a little bit and then continue up to all-time highs next week. And that could be a really great way to enter the new year, right? The VIX is finally coming down. Like we said on Monday, whenever we have a solid green candle, it usually leads to a reversal, right? And that's exactly what has played out, right? Like we see over here, solid green candle reversal. Solid green candle reversal here, solid green candle reversal, solid green candle. So there's a lot of them, right? Like solid green candle reversal, and part of it was just to come up and fill this gap that we had, I believe, last week or 2 weeks ago. And yeah, so this Monday came up, filled the gap, and now I do believe that this will continue down lower, right? And the fact that we're under 20 VIX is great. And we want to keep it below the volatility down to where we were earlier this year, around 15, or even lower is better. But yeah, the lower the volatility, the more likely the market is to just go up in a more controlled and smooth manner. Because this is what we want to see. We want to see the bull market go up in a sustained manner, right? Close, hugging the moving averages and coming down and retesting the moving averages once in a while, so it doesn't move up too quickly, but it doesn't plunge too quickly as well. Right? Just a nice, stable, sustainable uptrend, right? And this year has been a really great year in general. I mean, just look how smooth this uptrend has been, right? We haven't really had a big correction or anything. I mean, we had like 5% pullbacks or something like that, but it hasn't really been too bad, right? So this year has been pretty good, and hopefully next year we're going to see the volatility come down even lower, right? Maybe retest 15, maybe perhaps break even lower, but I do expect next year to be a great year as well, especially since the volatility coming down, but also I think that the coronavirus, look, with our economy, the world will survive. We'll adjust, and things are going to get better. Supply chain crisis will be solved, and I don't see anything unless we have another black swan event. Right? I do think that the economy is going to continue to get stronger, and the stock market will not only adjust to the tapering and the interest rate hikes, but will continue to get stronger and just keep making new all-time highs. Basically, Fear and Greed Index has went from extreme fear earlier this year to now fear, and so we're starting to build a base of confidence, right? Like I said in my last video on Monday, I said that it was kind of strange how the market was going up, while at the same time, the fear was pretty elevated. So I think that usually what precedes a big market crash is just too much greed, right? So before the coronavirus crash, we had so much greed up here, but we only had like very momentarily up here, and probably before the September crash, right? Or not crash, pullback. But there is quite a bit of fear, so I'm not too worried that the market is in a bubble or anything. There's still a lot of upside in terms of how much greed the market can have before we have to start worrying about it being a little too overbought, right? So I do think the market, as long as it continues to maintain a nice sustainable rally, hugging the moving averages and not going parabolic, moving too far away from these moving averages, I do think the market still has a lot in it, a lot of gas to push up even higher. And 2022, I do expect it to be a great year. And so yeah, I think we went over everything. So yeah, just a brief summary. Friday the market will be closed, so I won't be making a video, but I do expect the market to go up into all-time highs by the end of this year, probably either tomorrow or next week. And 2022, 2022, I expect that to be a great year. But we'll definitely update you next update on Monday, next Monday. And I hope everybody has Merry Christmas and of course, Happy Holidays. Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to like this video, leave a comment below, and subscribe for updates. Appreciate all your support. Thank you again, and have a great day.